Welcome back to Sissy Maya. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update. Additionally, consider subscribing to my Patreon to get access to these features, and much more. Somewhere in the cosmic expanse across from Zeus' penthouse and beside Chulhu's condo, a business meeting was unraveling fast. Not hell itself, just a few blocks away. The 11 muses were running out of ideas. Calliope glared. Humans are utterly useless. Go ahead and complain, but they've been surprisingly helpful, all things considered, Zenobia replied quietly. All things considered, I'm sick of your endless excuses. Calliope, they're mortals. You need patience, Zenobia insisted. They're worth more than you realize. Worth more. They're about as valuable as a dying crabapple tree. I think you mean crab, not crap, Sappho corrected. Silence, you annoying flatterer. Calliope roared, gesturing to her heavy tablet. My words and actions are set in stone. If you're going to hurl insults, at least try to understand their meaning, Cleo said. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to be productive. Cleo rubbed her temples. These meetings kept getting worse. Whoever called Calliope the wisest muse was either clueless or cruelly ironic. Erato grabbed another handful of chips, clicking the TV remote. Calliope has a point. Have you seen HBO lately? It's dreadful. Even they can't come up with fresh ideas. Truly, the end is near, Talia murmured. What's wrong with humans? Calliope demanded. Have they lost their creativity? There has to be a reason. Cleo stopped typing, pale now. The numbers didn't lie. I think I've found the cause. Who? Calliope asked. Fanboys. The restaurant buzzed, making it hard to catch the news anchor's words. Caleb didn't care, same news as yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. Seriously, when will people move on? He muttered, shaking his head at the TV. Strange events had been happening non-stop for 6 months, yet everyone still called them weird. It was exhausting. The world was stunned last week by the bizarre incident at the 5th annual KlingCon at the Bertram Convention Center, the anchor reported. Alex took a sip of his margarita. Whatever. So, Lucas, what did you think of the movie? Lucas straightened up, ready for a typical fanboy rant. The cyberpunk stuff was over the top, but that Ghost in the Shell reference. Loved it. Caleb sighed. You looked way too excited. Like you were about to lose it. Lucas shot back, and this from the self-proclaimed master debater. Stop calling me that. I was drunk 4 years ago. The TV showed grainy aerial footage of the Bertram Convention Center, decorated for KlingCon, its futuristic design shining under banners. Suddenly, the building exploded into sparkling shards, and stunned fanboys floated suspended in the air. The shards merged into a sleek black spaceship, which blasted off with thousands of diehard Trekkies aboard. Caleb thought, good riddance. Authorities are still searching for the missing and trying to determine their fate. Meanwhile, Japan's Prime Minister announced a new bill to regulate Tokyo's soaring insurance rates since the appearance of the so-called Mecha. Alex slammed his glass down. Enough. I didn't set up this night to argue. We have 1 year of college left before we scatter. Are you really going to waste it acting like kids? Lucas and Caleb fell silent. Lucas sighed. I'll pay the bill. No, I got it. Caleb said quickly. Quiet. I'm trying to hear this, a nearby diner whispered, much to Alex's relief. Joining us is Dr. Johan Janssen, leading the investigation into these strange events, the anchor said. Dr. Janssen, thank you for being here. Glad to be, Janssen replied. Most incidents involve various fandoms, but the Bertram incident shows there's still much we don't understand. Everyone wonders, what comes next? Suddenly, the screen went static. Caleb didn't mind. What bothered him was how everyone else seemed trapped in a loop, literally. A waitress reached for a tray, pulled back, tried again, pulled back. A customer started thanking her, stopped, then started again. A man fell off his chair, reappeared on top of it, and fell again. Guys! Alex and Lucas had already noticed. The three exchanged confused looks. Either this was an elaborate prank or they were caught in a catastrophic time glitch. Simply put, time had just seriously messed up. A glowing blue sphere appeared in the middle of the restaurant, holding their gaze for a timeless moment. Then it burst into a radiant blue explosion, reducing the entire building to smoldering ruins. Beautiful, smoldering ruins. Before the blast swallowed him, Lucas had a fleeting thought. What the actual? Beep, beep. Though groggy, Lucas realized he was in some kind of recovery room. He tried to recall. Last thing he remembered, a restaurant, then an explosion. That sucked. At least he didn't have to pay the bill. Alex always ordered the priciest stuff. That thought sparked another. Was Alex okay? Caleb. Especially Alex. What happened since then? He couldn't remember much except a white conference room. 11 women sat around a long table, glaring. And the words, mist, heatwave, breeze. Where were those thoughts coming from? He'd always heard people don't dream when knocked out. Now he could write a book proving that wrong, win a Nobel Prize, and maybe marry the president. Just for his money, though. He wasn't gay, not that there's anything wrong with that. Unless you ran around in just a Speedo punching kids. Then you'd be an asshole, not gay. Maybe his brain just needed to fully reboot. Yeah, that made sense. Good morning, chosen one. If his body hadn't felt like rotting tomatoes, Lucas would have shot upright. It wasn't just the sudden voice that startled him, it was how strange it sounded. Lucas knew the man spoke English, but he couldn't understand a word. Had the blast scrambled his brain? As the fog cleared, even his thoughts felt different, like they were in another language. He tried to say he didn't understand. Sumi Mason ga, wakara masen, he said. Two things became clear. One, he was speaking Japanese, and two, he sounded like a little girl. That was unexpected. My apologies, the ATS is off, the stranger said, fiddling with a device around Lucas's neck. That should fix it. Lucas soon heard the man's words repeated in his new native tongue. ATS o tsukmason. When Lucas responded, Nani goto desu ka, it translated back to English. What's going on? You were caught in the anomaly 2 days ago. Most in the restaurant survived unscathed. But you and your friends changed. What kind of changes? The man stared. Do you really want to know? Yes. He sighed. You're the reincarnation of the Crystal Guardian. The Crystal Goddess chose you to protect the Crystal of Eternity. To do that, you had to become a young Japanese girl. That makes no sense. The man laughed. You're sharp. Most people I tell this to just nod along. Honestly, I have no clue what's happening. But you did change age, gender, and ethnicity. Toodaloo. With effort, he stood and left. Just before disappearing, he popped his head back. Name's Felix Quinn. You'll see a lot of me. Lucas was left stunned. Changing age, gender, ethnicity? No way. Mustering all his strength, Lucas threw back the sheets and looked at his body. As Felix Quinn walked down the hallway, a piercing feminine scream shattered the air. "Hoo boy," he muttered. "Tell the truth to a girl, and she goes full psycho." A nurse intercepted him. "Felix. Uh-oh. Talking to patients again? Langston told you to stop." Felix sighed. "Yeah, he wants me to be all nice now." "No, he told you to stay out of the recovery rooms entirely." "How did you get here?" "Not important. What matters is you Dr. Phil wannabes are so busy coddling the patients that you forget they're superhuman. Tough. They can handle it. Your shock therapy isn't working, Felix. These patients need time to adjust. How would you feel if you woke up like Lucas?" she said, gesturing toward his room. "I'd feel great. Lucas and his friends have been handed a blessing in disguise. Way better than no blessing at all. That's not your call to make." "Of course it is. Langston assigned me to their team. I'm their animal mascot, Felix said, tapping his fake cat ears. You're not an animal, Felix. You know what? Screw you. Lucas stared blankly at the ceiling of the recovery room. Most people in his situation would try to explain everything away as a dream or hallucination. Lucas just didn't have the energy to question it. So, Lucas Shaw. Pleasure to meet you. The voice was new and oddly mechanical. He sat up and saw it came from a television screen. A shadowy man's silhouette appeared, but little else was visible. Who are you? Where are Alex and Caleb? You may call me Mr. Langston. I represent an organization dedicated to global peace and prosperity. Sure, like they all do, Lucas muttered. Langston chuckled softly. I like your quick wit, Mr. Shaw. It'll serve you well. As for your friends, you'll see them shortly, 5 seconds, to be exact. Suddenly, Lucas's bed began to sink through a trapdoor in the floor. Despite his shock, he marveled at the smooth descent. Hospitals should be this cool. After a moment, the bed settled in a room below. Lucas spotted several other beds, 2 occupied by unfamiliar Japanese girls. The one on his left looked older, late teens. The one on his right was younger than Lucas's new body. Another TV in the room showed Langston's shadowy figure again. Apologies for the bluntness, but Mr. Quinn denied you a chance to adjust. Mr. Shaw, Caleb is on your left, Michael on your right. They exchanged confused looks. As you know, strange events have been escalating. The public teeters on the edge of panic. Without action, chaos and lawlessness will consume society. You have been granted extraordinary powers, details unknown to me. What I do know is this: if you choose to join my organization, we can save humanity. Your mission won't be easy. You'll face ruthless enemies, both human and otherwise. But you won't be alone. We don't abandon those who stand with us. So I ask, Lucas Shaw, Michael Reed, and Caleb Morgan, will you follow me? Caleb was the first to respond. Thanks, but no thanks. Sounds cool, but I want things back to normal. Same here, Alex added nervously. But we haven't even seen our powers yet, Lucas mumbled. Langston hesitated. I understand your confusion. I'd tell you more if I could. You may refuse. But only my organization has the means to restore you, and only if you help us. The choice is yours. Caleb sneered. So you're going to exploit us and keep us prisoners? In a way, aren't we all prisoners to our responsibilities? Your service will be brief and well rewarded. They leaned in, whispering. No way I'm working with that guy, Caleb hissed, not caring if they were being recorded. He won't even say who he answers to. How do we know he'll fix us? Alex looked uneasy. True. But something about your choice scares me. We're cut off from the outside world. Who knows what he'll do if we say no? Lucas nodded. I don't trust him either, but cooperating might give us the best shot at getting back to normal. He'd have no reason to keep us alive otherwise. Besides, if it gets bad, we can bail just like you dropped that pre-algebra class, he said, smirking at Caleb. Are you out of your minds? Caleb snapped. This is tyranny, the tyranny of the majority. After what felt like forever of quiet arguing, a collective sigh rose with the answer, fine. We'll do it. You better hold up your end, Caleb warned. Before his change, he was a master of scornful looks. Now he just looked adorably sulky. Though Lucas couldn't see it, he knew Langston was grinning. On my honor, Mr. Morgan. Our partnership will be mutually beneficial. Then, reluctantly, Mr. Quinn, you may enter. Langston out. The screen went black. A man stepped through a hidden door. Lucas's stomach turned. It was Felix Quinn. All right, people, no time to waste. Get up now, Felix said flatly. As they climbed out of their beds, Lucas noticed they were all wearing dark green jumpsuits. Not stylish, but way better than hospital gowns. The first step, Felix explained, is to discover your abilities. You're part of a rare group we call upholders, humans granted extraordinary powers. We first noticed your kind when the strange events began 6 months ago. Wait, so we're superheroes? I thought you said you had no clue what was going on, Lucas said. Yeah, well, I lied. Anyway, does anyone like anime? Are you seriously trying to change the subject from a global crisis to Japanese cartoons? Caleb snapped, shooting Lucas a sharp look. All upholders seem to have powers tied to their interests as normal humans, Felix mused, rubbing his chin. I'm guessing you guys are some kind of magical girl team. Try powering up. Excuse me? Caleb asked, incredulous. Power up. Don't know what a transformation sequence is. Felix rubbed his forehead. We animal mascots have it tough. You're not an animal, you creepy fat, Caleb started. Pink sugar stardust surprise. Lucas cut in. Twinkie power rainbow magic. Alex and Caleb exchanged baffled looks. What are you doing? Caleb gasped. I'm trying to figure out our power-up phrase. Lovely heart dream makeup. Wonderful lyrical strawberry. Make it stop, Alex thought desperately. Something was rising in his throat, not bile, but something worse. Super Sentori. Sunrise. Alex shouted. A hyperactive J-pop song blasted out. White light engulfed him from the neck down, flashing as it formed pieces of his costume. Pop, a pair of pink boots laced onto his feet. Pop, long white gloves slid up his arms. Pop, a sailor uniform appeared on his torso. Pop, a cap blinked onto his head. As the song peaked, a magical staff appeared in his hands. With a flourish, he raised the wand and cried, Acer Sentori, fight on. Lucas and Caleb joined in, transforming too. Shogo Sentori, fight on. Lucas yelled. You Sentori, fight on. Caleb shouted. When the henshin sequence ended, they all exhaled in relief. Super Sentori, huh? Felix said. I like it, though that theme song's probably going to get old fast. Caleb blinked, fighting off a headache. Alex, please never do that again. Looking down at his uniform, a navy blazer and a ridiculously short red tartan skirt, he remembered why he hated anime. Always chests over brains. And how is this supposed to help me fight? Well, you're the only Centauri old enough for fan service, Felix said. Makes sense to me. Before Caleb could reply, Lucas made a dramatic pose and declared, Your cruel deeds darken the stars. We, the Super Centauri, will fight to save the day. Felix winced. Either my translator's broken or you really stink at battle cries. Lucas shrugged. Work in progress. So, any villains around? Funny you ask. Let me show you the next part of your training. The trio hesitated but followed Felix down a sterile white corridor. They passed doors labeled Chibi Cryostorage and Unicorn Electrocastration Laboratory, each emitting strange noises. Finally, Felix stopped before a door marked Combat Training Facility. MGVZ 5B. He looked uneasy. This is where it gets rough. I can't tell you what you'll face, but stay calm and you'll probably make it. But we don't even know how to defend ourselves. Caleb protested. Are we supposed to annoy the bad guys to death with transformation sequences? Felix sighed. I've worked with magical girls before. For some reason, they never get to practice their attacks first. They always fumble around comically the first time they use their powers. That's dumb, Alex said. Felix shrugged. On the bright side, the worst injuries are usually just small cuts or ripped gloves. Ready? Heck yeah, Lucas shouted, throwing the door open and charging inside. Lirurui. Jenk, NS, he muttered as the room revealed only a row of large steel shutters on the far wall. Apparently, no actual training was needed, so his friends followed. All right then, Caleb said. You've shown us how to face our fears, Felix the Wise. Can we go now? The door slammed shut behind them, locking automatically. Like I said, stay cool, Felix warned. The shutters slid open with a metallic shunk, revealing nothing but pitch blackness. In that darkness appeared 3 zombies, groaning ung-eng as they shuffled forward. Caleb and Alex backed away, but Lucas stood his ground, feeling their fetid breath. "Ah! Toaster pastry super punch," Lucas yelled, swinging at one. His fist hit its stomach but bounced off harmlessly. "Ah, crap." The zombie seemed confused, then lunged at Lucas, who ducked and fell on his backside. "This makes no damn sense," Caleb shouted, dodging another zombie. Then again, "Nothing about this makes sense." "Felix! Help!" Alex called. Suddenly, Felix screamed, "Nya! Nya!" and scrambled up to a zombie, clawing at its face. "Yowl, hiss." Alex blinked. "Wait, what?" "I'm your animal mascot," Felix explained. "Remember?" He kept scratching and meowing. The zombie swatted him away and lumbered toward Alex, who backed into a corner, hands raised. "Please, can't we talk?" The zombie ignored him, shuffling closer in an almost comical way. Then Alex shouted, "Morning mist," accompanied by a hopeful musical flourish. The gem on his staff glowed, and pink fog filled the room up to his knees. What did that do? Alex wondered aloud. The zombies suddenly slowed to a snail's pace. Alex took a step back, his feet slid through the mist like roller skates. After a few tries adjusting, he zipped around, laughing as a zombie tripped and face-planted. That zombie quickly vanished, probably off to get jaw surgery. Lucas watched with simmering jealousy. Why did Alex always figure this stuff out first? He wasn't the one memorizing every line from lyrical Nanoha. He glared at a nearby zombie, eager to take out his frustration. "Noon heatwave," he shouted, thrusting his fist. A yellow-white energy sphere burst out, crashing into the zombie and sending it flying across the room. It moaned, then flickered out of existence. "Evening breeze," Caleb shouted at a zombie closing in on him. Purplish ribbons of energy shot from his fingertips, traveling slowly but unstoppable thanks to the immobilizing pink mist. The bolts struck the zombie dead on, turning it into a pile of purple dust. Silence fell as the 3 magical heroines absorbed their first victory. Caleb glanced nervously at Felix, who hadn't moved since falling. After a few tense seconds, Felix groaned and slowly stood. "I knew you could do it," he said with a grin, dusting himself off. "Anyone want some Gatorade? We've got plenty more training, but you've earned a break." Meanwhile, in Minato Ward. Though he'd only been in Tokyo 3 months, he knew his way around. His wrist GPS was a helpful guide but only showed legal routes. Sidewalks were for the leisurely. He preferred squeezing through alleys, vaulting fences, and leaping rooftops. Amashiro Park was close. Resistance was expected. Intel reported up to 6 hostile entities. As he emerged from the last alley, chaos and destruction filled the air. Trees shook violently from the unseen battle. He clenched his teeth, drawing his side-handle batons. "If only you could see me now, Asomi," he muttered. "Wait a second," Caleb said. "How do we transform back to our normal forms?" Before anyone answered, he declared, "Super Sentori." Sunset. Thankfully, no pop music played as their clothes shifted back to jumpsuits. "Wait," Lucas exclaimed. "I think I've got it. Alex can shift us into Centauri form, and Caleb can shift us back." His face fell. "But that reminds me. What's up?" Felix asked. "Shouldn't we get new names? We'll blow our cover fast if we keep our old ones. Besides, Lucas doesn't really fit anymore." Felix rubbed his stubbled chin. "Good point. I planned to update your profiles later this week, but I'll do it during the break instead. Come on, let's replenish our electrolytes." As they left the training arena, Caleb shot Lucas a sharp look. "You're enjoying this, aren't you?" Lucas shrugged. "Hey, whistle while you work. Do-do-do-do-do-do-doot." "Oh, you son of a," Caleb growled. Alex stopped walking, covering his face, trembling with either silent sobs or stifled laughter. Beep, 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 Felix announced as they entered a sparse break room. My sensors detect some serious hostility here. Come on, team, drop the hate and chug some V8. Although, we don't have any right now. That stuff makes my guts run like the mighty seas of Blue Feria, whatever that is. Alex and Lucas eagerly headed inside for refreshments. Caleb lingered near the door. Felix, if you check those cabinets, we have some energy bars. They should still be good. Felix, they're expired. Man, I'm gonna kick Paul's ass. Promised he'd restock. Felix, no matter. See that mini fridge? Drinks inside. Sorry, no alcohol for you too, you're under 21 in my book. And stay away from anything in a Burger King cup, that's mine. Chip, shut up and listen. The room fell silent, eyes wide. I need to talk, Caleb said. Felix hesitated, then cautiously approached. Caleb glanced at Alex and Lucas, who politely focused on their Snapple bottles. This whole thing is messed up, Caleb said. Felix nodded. Yeah. What's wrong? The problem? Isn't it obvious? Those chests aren't as fun as you thought? No. Already that time of the month. I heard it takes some getting used to. You. No way. Caleb's face reddened like a boiler about to explode. You're pissed about being turned into a girl again. Caleb sighed deeply. It's not just that. It's Lucas. Felix waited as Caleb collected himself. He doesn't have many close people, Caleb said. But Alex and I, tons of people will be worrying about us tonight. We had plans, and even if we get back to normal, I don't know how we'll fix things. And Lucas? He just skips along like this is his dream come true. You make him sound like your sworn enemy. Like you're a Klingon and he's a tribble. No, he's my friend. I just think he can be a real jerk sometimes. Okay, so you don't like jerks. Why bring this up with me? Caleb sighed again. What I really want to know is, do you think Lucas caused this? Felix raised an eyebrow. You think he dragged you into this on purpose? Caleb waved his hand in front of his face like fanning away a terrible smell, not sure why. No. He wouldn't do that, but I doubt we randomly turned into anime-style girls. Maybe something in his subconscious triggered it. After a pause, Felix replied, from what I know, that's impossible. A fanboy can't force someone else to become an upholder, knowingly or not. Are you sure it wasn't your own mind playing tricks? Maybe deep down, you're obsessed with Tokyo Mew Mew. No. Aside from the occasional Miyazaki film, Alex and I aren't into anime. Felix pondered. Well, you were kinda slow in training. So you swear you know nothing about anime? Nothing, except some people take it way too seriously. Alex and I aren't fanboys of anything. That's interesting, Felix murmured. I've got to update your profiles soon. Anything else you want to say? Not really. Thanks for listening. No problem. I'm your animal mascot, Felix said cheerfully as he left. Alex sipped his juice, looking tired. That mascot thing's already getting old. Caleb stayed silent, sitting beside Alex and Lucas, lost in thought. Felix whistled as he headed to his favorite room in the facility. He even preferred it over the rec room, which had a badass ping-pong table. But in my office, I can secretly download furry porn, he thought, settling into his swivel chair. His bosses tolerated it as long as Langston didn't complain. Maybe Langston liked furry stuff too? Ridiculous. Langston had clear expectations for his team, and as long as they met them, they had plenty of freedom. Though Langston was particular about getting email updates. Thinking of Caleb's concerns, Felix booted up his PC and opened his mail client. Subject: Code Epsilon Level 1. Mr. Langston. Caleb Morgan shared some interesting info. He claims he and Michael Reed weren't involved in any fan communities before Incident M2. As per the Redundant Observation Procedures Protocol, I'm filing this as Code Epsilon Level 1. Felix Quinn. After sending the email, Felix felt like his head was a chocolate orange being smashed. Bureaucracy was the hardest thing to adjust to. It was like waking up in a moldy pile of leaves. Like funnel cake infested with evil switchblade-wielding termites. Like discovering your real name is Ornithopter Higgins 4. Speaking of which, he thought, time for some profile reconstruction. That was always fun. He opened a browser and Googled common Japanese names. He scrolled carefully through the results, pausing only to jot down promising options. Don't forget to join me on Patreon for exclusive content.